Good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 27 of the 72 review. Flying through these, you'll notice we have got somebody new on the panel. He's joined Jake, so I think that's probably the best place to start. I will introduce Jack, also known as Worko. Link to his Twitch is in the description down below. Jack, tell us who you are, what you do on a day-to-day basis, and why you're here, why you do it.
I'm Jack. I'm friends with Jake. Anybody that watches the Talking Wednesday podcast or listens to it will probably recognize me. I'm a co-host over on that. I do Twitch. I would describe. I don't actually do football stuff over there. I would more describe my my stuff as like Robin Williams-esque presentation or stand-up or whatever over on that Twitch account. And but I've just always been ironically enough, I'm another Sheffield Wednesday fan. As if you couldn't get enough of them over here. I'm yet another one. But some would actually also describe me as an armchair fan because I live in the East Midlands.
Ian looks impressed.
But, Ian looks very, very impressed. Yeah, I've been a fan of this show for quite a long time, and I'm also the one who, funnily enough, knows Ben Wiles because I used to play cricket with him back in the day. Very disappointed to see him injured, but yeah, that's some summary of who I am.
There we go. Good stuff. It's nice to know that you've been a fan of this show for a while as well. But yeah, I'm glad that Ian's here because Ian wasn't very well this week and it was touch and go whether he was going to be here. So I thought I was going to be vastly outnumbered by Wednesday fans 3-1, but we are 3-2. I think it's because we both said that we preferred United last week, Ian. But we're obviously not Sheffield United fans, Ian. I'll pass over to you over the bar. Let anybody new who was on the stream, let them know who you are, what you do and why you do it.
Oh, I do it for the love of the game, actually. 61-year-old Miller season ticket holder, although I didn't get to the game yesterday. And also, when the Millers are away from home, I vlog for Over the Bar YouTube channel, concentrating mainly on the bottom two tiers. But I just love it. I love the game, so that's what I do.
Lovely stuff. We'll bounce back up to Jake and Jack. Jake, PunkChef41, you'll know him. He's regular, he's part of the furniture. But if you are new to the show, this is Jake. Let them know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, mate.
I am PunkChef41. I do a Sheffield Wednesday fan channel. I talk everything Wednesday. I also do a podcast co-hosting with Dirty Box called Talking Wednesday. And we just talk all things Wednesday, talk about things that are going on. I start doing a live stream every Friday around 7 p.m. And I call it the Sheffield Wednesday Roundup, trying to talk about what news is available. A bit difficult when there's nothing, so I have to think of something. It gets a bit winded. But luckily, this week we managed to talk about the 2 years since Darren Moore been at the club. Sorry, Dapper. I know it's a sore subject. Yeah. But it's one of those things. I love doing it, and I've done it for a while, and I just keep talking about Wednesday until people tell me to shut up. And even when they do, I keep carrying on.
Oh, we'll tell you to shut up, don't worry.
Oh, no, you will.
And how the fortunes of Sheffield Wednesday and Doncaster Rovers have changed and been polar opposite over the last 2 years. And I do think Darren Moore is a big contributing factor to that. And last but not least, just below me around the grounds is Lee. For anybody new to the stream, let them know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, mate.
Yeah, so I'm Lee. I'm a massive Sheffield Wednesday fan, and when I'm when I'm not watching the Wednesday, I'm off ground hopping around Yorkshire mainly at the moment, but hoping to branch out. I'm just starting my YouTube journey, so yeah, enjoying getting to different games, loving it.
Flying towards 1,000 subs as well, aren't you? So head over to him if you haven't already, and give him a bit of support. Get him to that 1,000. Same with all of the other guys as well, Jake, Ian, and Jack. Head over to their channels and give them support if you haven't already. That would be great. On to this, if you are new, 72 review. It kind of does what it says on the tin. We go through the 72. We obviously don't go through every single game because we'll be here for hours. And I've got a life, a missus, and I like to keep my life and missus happy. So it's about an hour. We're going to start in the Championship, work our way through League One and League Two. As always, get your comments in. It does drive a lot of conversation, and we've got loads of comments in. So before we do start, we'll have a quick flick through some of those. Ryan was early in. Can't wait for Tuesday night. Barnsley Pompey away 5-0 to Barnsley. That'd be a big scoreline. Callum cannot wait for the 18th of March. He said that beat Millwall 3-2, beat Sunderland 3-1 on Sunday. Doing pretty well at the minute, Norwich. We've got ATID. He's in the chat. I know this is EFL, but 7-0 is just silly. So, yeah, Liverpool, if you've not seen yet, Liverpool 7, Manchester United 0. Massive scoreline there, one that's not expected. Lizzie, sending love to Ian. Hope you're well. Nat's in the chat. Evening legends. Thank you very much. I'm guessing about Jake, Jack, and Lee more than me and Ian there.
Also seeing that, buddy. Good to
Take
see
it
you.
anyway. We've got a few more saying evening. We're glad that you're all in watching the show, for sure. So I think we will start in the Championship. Let me just get the ticker running across. Let's get that on. Lots to do. So Ian, you're first up, mate. Monday, travelling into Wales, and a decent away point, 1-1. Talk us through this one, mate.
Yeah, you would think it were a decent away point, especially as we never do well at Swansea. But this really is a game that we should have won. We missed some chances. Swansea took the lead in the first half, really against the run of play, but it was slack marking that let Pirro in to score. And at that time, we're thinking, oh, it's going to be another bad away day, especially as Jordan Hugill had one cleared off the line just before half time. But we came up second half, really attacked him, and we got a deserved equaliser through Ogbeni, who actually tapped it in when he was sat on the floor, because I think he slipped originally. But Swansea, as they do, they had the majority of the possession, but most of the possession were just strung about the back four. And in the last 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, we had at least 2 decent chances to win the game. So although I'm really pleased with a point there, it could well and probably should have been 3. But yeah, we're playing okay at the moment. I was pleased with that, apart from the result. 3 points would have been far better.
What's everyone's take on Swansea at the minute? Because they seem like they're not there yet.
They're low on confidence. The fan base gets on their back really, really quickly. Russell Martin prefers this 70-80% possession every game. But if you're having 70 or 80% possession and not creating any chances and just strolling it round the back four in the midfield and never hurt teams, I mean, it could look pretty, but it's just ineffective. And I think they're struggling at the moment. And I think Martin, if he doesn't improve his results soon, might be looking for a new job. Because the Swansea fan base aren't happy at all.
Yeah, I think the expectation was pushing playoffs for Swansea fans, wasn't it? So they're underachieving this season. But do you think it's just a work in progress? And
it could be, but
they've
got some very good players, don't get me wrong.
What I don't get is why recall Whittaker from Plymouth and then not use him.
Yeah.
Well, they played him against us, and he was probably their most effective forward.
It just doesn't seem right at the minute. Something just needs to give.
Yeah.
But they've got the players that can hurt you. They've got Pirro, they've got Joe Allen, they've got creativity in that squad, but Martin's just not getting it out of them.
No, like you say, 65% possession and only creating seven shots. It's not a great return when you guys have doubled the amount of shots at goal.
Yeah, exactly.
On 30% less possession, you've clearly utilised the ball much, much better in this one. And like you say, had the opportunities to win it closer to the end. But then moving on to Saturday, you did win. So it's been a very good week for Rotherham.
It has been an exceptional week, yeah. Unfortunately.
7 points out of 9, is it?
I mean, it's 7 points out of the last 9?
Yeah.
Sunderland, beat Sunderland, drew with Swansea, beat QPR. That's decent form.
Yeah, that is.
Unfortunately, I couldn't go to this because I've had a chest infection all week and I couldn't get into the doctors to get antibiotics while Friday. And I was still really, really bad yesterday.
Countries on its arse.
Not to put too fine a point on it, some of the things I've been coughing up had their own skeletons. I thought you'd like that. So
Well, that's the Twitter clip. So
There we go.
I
There
had
we go.
to
That's
suffer
the,
actually following the match on BBC Final Score because I haven't got Sky. I haven't got, and I weren't, I haven't got Sky. There were no radio commentary, so I had to sort of like take me chance on BBC Final Score, which I haven't done since COVID, and it were awful, absolutely awful. But we got an early goal through Hugill, and I've watched the highlights. It was a good run and cross by Ogbenny. We are definitely going to lose in the summer. He's already said so, that he's going to be leaving the club in the summer. But if he keeps us up, he'll go with our best wishes. Hugo scored another one, a penalty where Rob Dickey brought him down at the start of the second half. Stuck the penalty away very well. And then we got a penalty given against us with a ball from the left-hand side that was already crossed. And Wes Harding went in, probably a little bit late. Referee gave a penalty. And Jamal Lowe scored quite easily. And I was thinking at that time, oh, here we go, surrender stations, really deep defending. But give Matt Taylor his dues, he still went for it. And we scored a good third goal through Hakamadoffin, who's become like a new signing. I mean, Warren didn't fancy him at all and hardly ever played him. But he's been a regular since Matt Taylor's come in like defensive midfield mode. And I think that's his third goal. And he's been a good signing for us because he breaks play up. He's your typical midfielder that does all the dirty jobs nobody else wants to do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Sometimes they
he's
can
been
be
a good
overlooked
addition
as well,
to the
can't
squad. And really, I mean, when you come to look at the stats and everything, it's a very good win. That a very good result.
Yeah, it
Which
pulls
puts us
QPR into a bit of
8
bother as well,
points
doesn't it?
clear
Yeah.
of the third from bottom now.
Yeah.
And 8 points at this stage of the season is quite a gap.
Yeah,
It
there's
brings-
leapfrogging
we've
above
got some-
QPR as well.
We've got some, how can I say, we've got some fixtures coming up, especially the next 3, that could and should give us some points.
Who have you
We've
got?
got Birmingham away next, which is a bit of a 6-pointer.
Yeah.
And then we've got 2 home games with PNE and Cardiff. So
Yeah,
if
Cardiff's
we
a
could
big one,
get
isn't
a
it?
minimum of 5 points from them 3 games, I think we're going to
I
be
think you're
stopping in the
laughing.
championship.
I think if you get 5 points, then you're laughing and you're up.
Yeah.
I still think you're up anyway. I think
Yeah,
the
the 3
bottom-
worst teams in the championship
Yeah.
than Rotherham for sure.
Well, the bottom 3 as they stand at the moment can't win.
No.
Mm,
And
No.
depending on Reading's situation, I think they're going to, if they lose their points this season.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty good segue into the next game. I mean, Rotherham, it's all sunshine and roses in Rotherham, footballing wise, anyway. Mentioning Reading, it's not looking too good for them, is it? Is it financial fair play? I've not been.
yeah,
really keeping-
basically, it's the financial fair play that they got done for last time. They had a suspended point deduction beforehand. I think they got given 1, and I think they've redone it again. And
Yeah, I
it
understand
just
that as well.
it doesn't. We had it. We took it. Right. We did what we did, and it's that whole situation where I think if you know you've got a point deduction, you have to bot clever, and they just haven't. Because I don't want to know what Paul Ince is on, because he won't be cheap.
And I think when you're in that situation, knowing what it was like for Wednesday when it happened to us, you have to have a team full of very dedicated players and very steel-minded individuals. And I don't think I can say that about Reading this year.
Start of the
they've got lots
season,
of-
they looked decent, and then it tailed off like we all
Yeah.
thought it was going to.
Exactly.
Just to
Questions
fetch
coming
what's
about
work.
this game. Sorry, Jack, go on.
Oh no, it was just more of that. And I mean, I find it quite sad seeing this happen to Reading because they've always sort of been my little team, I guess, through a family connection. But what do you mean, ooh? I mean, I say little. They were in the Premier League more recently than Sheffield Wednesday, ironically. But it's quite sad because they've always been a very kind of like nice family oriented club, especially when Medeski owned them. And I don't know, since the change of ownership, it's not been all that great from a ownership perspective. But it's quite sad to see this fall.
Since Majeski gave the reins up, it's all gone downhill since then, really.
Yeah. It's like you say, it's a shame to see, especially if you've got connections in the family that support the club. You get to know the club a little bit better, the community that it feeds, and every club does impact its own community. And it's sad to see rivalries aside. It's sad to see any club going through any sort of hardship, because it's us, the fans, that end up feeling it the worst, because owners, unless they're affiliated with a club, can just sell up, move on, and forget about it. Whereas we're stuck sweeping up the mess, aren't we? So as fans, it is hard to take. Lewis has asked if we reckon Borough could nick second. Lee?
I think so.
It.
I definitely think so.
It's not beyond realms of possibility, because the Blades are slipping up.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Yeah, they're not firing like they were at other Sheffield United.
Obviously, great displeasure.
I watched it on Saturday. They look poor, to be fair. Blackburn could maybe have got a couple more.
Well, Blackburn hit the crossbar twice.
Yeah.
Blackburn are looking a very good side this year.
Just on the Reading situation, I think a lot of clubs now, you see it more struggling financially, but they're trying to keep up with teams with the parachute payments, but also with teams in the Premiership. You're just going to see more and more of this happening, where they're just doing more beyond the means financially. It's just.
I thought more clubs would have been a bit more careful with the pandemic, but it seems like a lot of them have just gone, no, we're just going to keep doing what we were doing.
Yeah.
It's a big gamble, isn't it, to try and get to the big bright lights of the Premier League and the big money that's up there. And there's only ever going to be 3 teams a season that are going to make it, and the rest are going to fail and ultimately have a big bill to pay.
I'm hoping actually this financial regulator that the government's going to get football, a financial regulator for football the government's going to appoint. I'm hoping that he can filter the finances down from the greed league a little bit more than they do. And also, I mean, I'm an advocate of this, and the Premier League won't go for it. I'd abandon parachute payments altogether, because I think that's grossly unfair.
Yeah.
The thing is, the problem with the football regulation thing is it's getting of course, the EFL are all on board, but Premier League don't want to say anything about it. They said, no, that's unfair. But when you look at how much money they make, it's not unfair.
Yeah.
Teams have lost like Wednesdays when we went down. We didn't have that luxury of parachute payments. We were on his arse.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was literally the chairman financially propping up the club. And now, we haven't got any big name sponsor in the building. So it's still Chancery that's putting all the money up to.
I mean, you're sort of rewarding teams for going down. That shouldn't be. It shouldn't be that option.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They use it as it's the loss of TV money, but it's like you've gone down. You were the worst out of the lot.
Yeah.
Learn to live on it, and it's like I said, this will make a really good topic in the summer. I think for us all to go deep down because it's interesting.
Yeah, I think financial aspects in football could take up a full hour's live stream, couldn't it?
If we got parachute payments for getting relegated out at Championship, we'd be minted.
Problem is, you get about 40 quid in.
It's ridiculous. Didn't the Premier League to help EFL clubs recover after COVID? Wasn't it £2 million to split between every team?
Yeah.
Rather than 2 million per club. It was
nice.
It was a joke. It was such
nice to get that help, wasn't it?
Gesture. Like, what? That's nowhere near enough. But it's a whole wider discussion, isn't it, that needs to be had.
The average Premier League club would make more from a pre-season tour to Australia than that.
Yeah, definitely. Bringing it back to the Middlesbrough game, though. Westerner 8 says that ref decision for Reading was appalling. EFL refs are genuinely blind. I think it was a penalty, and I think it's a game-changing decision. But ultimately, from that point
Penalty
on,
and a red card.
yeah, Middlesbrough didn't look back though, did they? From that point on, Worko, you've got some love in the chat as well, Nat. Great to see Worko on here.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Nat.
But yeah, Western 8 also said he called it 3 weeks ago when they lost to Borough at home. They needed to shift in mentality. This is Sheffield United that Western is on about to chase Burnley, play attacking, not looking at Middlesbrough and defending. So yeah, I think you're spot on with that. Concentrate on themselves, not Middlesbrough who are chasing them down. And they should go up.
Akpom's having the season of his life, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Akpom's great, but look at Ramsey from Villa. He's
Yeah.
such
Took a couple of claxons on Jake. We had Ramsey.
Did you have Ramsey at Rovers?
We did. It was during COVID season, I think. Or
Oh,
no,
that's about right, yeah.
no, it wasn't. It might have been the season before, just before we shut down for COVID. In the chat,
right.
remind
Did
me.
you see Oaten him then, Dan? Did you think he was promising then?
Saw bits of him and he looked a special player. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure
He
it
was
was
a Darren
coming up
Moore
to February
signing, wasn't he?
2020 that we had him.
So it was a Darren Moore signing, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, good player. Very good player. But yeah, Middlesbrough absolutely trouncing Reading. Possibly off-field issues have impacted Reading there, but those stats just not good enough either. 34%, 3 shots, none on target. We can talk about the penalty decision not given. We can talk about that had been a red card. Ultimately, decisions don't go your way in games. You've got to take it on the chin and react. And Reading clearly haven't, and Middlesbrough didn't look back and absolutely tonked them, didn't they?
Borough's squad is frightening.
Yeah.
If you've got Force on the bench, a striker like Force on the bench, and also you got 2 ex-Millers on bench in Crooks and Barlasser,
Yeah.
and they can't even get in the team. Carrick's doing a fantastic job up there.
Oh, yeah. Not a.
Yeah,
I think he chucked a marker down, obviously, seeing the Sheffield United result at dinner time of just obviously 5-0. It's a bit of a statement that we're coming for you.
Yeah, it's massive, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's the whole karma thing too. If you remember, Paul Ince quite a while ago was criticising Michael Carrick. You never get anywhere with having Michael Carrick as your number 2, and then he's absolutely wiped the floor with him today. So it's.
I think Paul Ince picked up the Ian Everett book of shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Stevie
Mr.
in the
Everett,
chat is asked, what do we think about Bradford's promotions chances this season? League 2 is coming up later on. We will answer that, so keep that one in mind, gents. But the way the chat's going, I won't be able to find that when we get down to League 2.
Yeah.
Any games before we look at the table for the Championship?
Sunderland.
Yeah. Stoke Sunderland.
It's all yours, and gents.
The mercenary derby,
Yeah.
as we call it. I didn't see this one coming.
No.
Did not see this one coming. I don't know what he did. He kind of riled him up a bit, maybe because it's his former club. And yeah, he got the bag reception he knew he was going to get. We all knew that was coming because he left them in the lurch and went for the money.
Yep.
But Stoke absolutely destroyed them.
Yeah.
Really got. I think it's the best performance I've seen from him. And I don't know.
Dwight Gale can score goals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His celebration was questionable as well.
Yeah. Well, then I think it's very well established and known now that Dwight Gale's one of those is in that sort of caliber of far too good for the Championship, but he still isn't really all of that anything that special when you do get up to the Premier Leagues. But so he sort of to me he did a performance that you kind of would expect out of Dwight Gale, but it was quite funny to see him go kind of overboard with the celebration about getting Newcastle promotion.
Yeah.
Going down at the same time.
And Tyree Campbell's very good player.
Yeah.
I think there's
Yeah.
more to come from him. I think
Absolutely.
Stoke we have one. I think this was always going to be a building season to see what they did next, just because of how they appointed Neil. Neil might have a better season next season, but I just didn't see Sunderland collapsing this much.
No, I couldn't. Three defeats on the bounce now.
Yeah.
So we can put that down to Rotherham.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, we can't take credit for everything. But they're a decent side, Sunderland. And I mean, to be honest, after promotion, if you've finished halfway up in the Championship, you've had a good season.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
I think
Stoke, I mean, we played Stoke on Boxing Day and we drew 2-2 at New York. and Tyrese Campbell looked excellent that day.
Yeah.
I think, like you just said, Ian, getting promoted from League One and avoiding relegation in the following season is a successful season in anybody's book, even the size of Sunderland. But yeah, it's a damaging result, but we'll see how they bounce back next weekend. One game that I just wanted to touch on was Huddersfield Coventry. We've talked about Coventry so much on the stream. They started off poorly. Well, I say they started off poorly. They didn't even start, really, did they? They had the problems with the pitch and loads of games in hand. They looked like they might have been in a bit of bother. But now the fire on all cylinders. Gyökeres.
What a player that Gyökeres is. What a striker he is. 18
goals
they will struggle to keep him next season.
Yeah, but this win, it's only put them 3 points off playoffs. They've got as good a chance as anybody of getting in the playoffs. Huddersfield, though, Warnock seems already resigned to relegation. In his post-match press conference, is talking about pride in the shirt, pride in yourself as a player, ruffling a few feathers. That's all football cliches for a team going down, isn't it, Lee?
Yep. It is definitely. Can I just give a shout out to my mate who was at Cardiff, and he dropped a little text to me before. He says, make sure you say some nice words about Cardiff, because I were signing them up for relegation a few episodes ago.
Cracking result for them.
Very good result.
They're pulling it out the bag. They changed it around. Lamucci found a way of getting them to win, and that's the most important thing when you're down there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We've said it time and time again. Single point down at the bottom of the table is massive, but to get 3, it's a lifesaver, isn't it? I mean, they're now 6 points ahead of Blackpool. Better goal difference. It's not massive, but it's almost equivalent to another point, isn't it? Depending on how results go.
Everyone down from 20th around, all change manager trying to change it up.
Yeah.
The only one I could see possibly getting it out of this is Blackpool after that point versus Burnley.
Yes.
That was an excellent point, that.
Yeah, one that was unexpected for sure.
Yeah.
But great reading for Rotherham, Ian, 18th.
Yeah, I'm still, I'm not celebrating yet, but like I said before we went on air, the next 3 games we should be able to get at least 5 points from. And that's Birmingham away on Saturday, the Tuesday after PNE at home, and then the Saturday after Cardiff at home. I think if we can get 5 points from those 3 games, I think we'll be staying in the Championship.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you reckon points tally will keep you up this season? Do you reckon 45, 46 points is enough, or is that 50?
Well, we always aim for 50, don't we? Because 50 is normally stopping up. But I think everything from 47 upwards, I think we'll stay in it. We'll stay in the league.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
55, comfortable staying up rather than just on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, like you say, 50 is comfortable, whereas anything below that is like last day of season, fighting nails.
I think, Ian, if you stay up, I think you've now then got to build to push yourself on to that next level.
But unfortunately, last few seasons, we haven't had an opportunity to do that because we've gone straight back down. So therefore, we've got to get League One experience for League One again.
Yeah.
I mean, it all comes to finances at the end of the day, and I'm sure that our recruitment team will be looking at free agents and the like, and not having to spend daft money in transfer fees. But I think we've got a little bit of money in the bank from Barlaser and 1 or 2 more deals that we've done.
Yeah.
And wages wise, he might have to up it a little bit, but we more encouraging, put it that way. Let's see at the start of May if we're still a Championship club, because a lot can happen between now and then.
It can, mate, you're right. Not a good week at the top of the table for Burnley or Sheffield United, both dropping points. Burnley, I think they're still up. I can't see anybody catching them. They've got too big a gap. Maybe foot's off the pedal a little bit.
It's anyone from Blackburn and Middlesbrough, Sheffield United now, because Sheffield United have started getting this wobble.
Yeah,
and it will be interesting to see, because in theory, don't rule out Luton as well. Luton
could be the real dark horse surprise card actually in this whole promotion chase this year.
Nobody mentions Luton, do they? And they keep
No.
ploughing the results out.
Yeah, that's it. And Norwich doing pretty well, making it into the top 6. But I think Callum in the chat, are you happy with playoffs, or with the expectation to be kind of up here where Burnley and Sheffield United are good team at this level, but possibly underachieving? Maybe, I'm not sure.
I think it was always going to be a challenge for them to do it again and win that league again after coming down.
It was always going to be a challenge, and they didn't sack Dean Smith early enough. I'm not one for sacking managers, don't get me wrong, but that was the one where you looked at it and said, why ain't you done this yet? I think if you got Wagner in a little bit earlier, he got a bit more to work with and try and do the push.
Yeah,
definitely. So that brings the Championship to a close. Moving on to League One now. We will start with Sheffield Wednesday's win at home to Peterborough. We'll start with Lee. Talk us through this one, and then Jake and Jack interject where you feel fit.
Yeah, so Peterborough obviously clearly come with a game plan. What worked for him before, they tried to do again and wind up the likes of Byers and co. It was working the first half. It frustrated the hell out of us. Didn't have many chances, to be honest. I think we hit the bar post with first half, Jake.
Yeah,
but it shows again our resilience to not get sucked in by it. And Darren Moore obviously had that calming influence at half time and just probably reiterated why we're top of the league and not to get sucked into it. And far better show in second half. Plenty of chances and got the goal. Massive credit to Brown, who's obviously been out of the side for a good number of weeks. He's come in and he's done pretty well, to be fair.
He doesn't look like a player that's been out of the team for so long.
No, and I think that's credit to Moore. He's obviously kept them all, so they're not spitting the dummies out, because you could quite easily do that if you're not playing week in, week out. And Brown's not really. He's probably figured least out of all of the squad. But again, massive credit to the team, dug in and got another clean sheet and another 3 points, and we can tick that one off and focus on the next one. I think that's what it's all about now. Just game at a time. Don't worry about what else other teams are doing. Just focus on what we're doing, which is what Darren Moore seems to be doing.
Darren Moore's analogy in the press conference on Friday was interesting, because he mentioned about how the British rowing team, they don't look behind them because it stops the flow with counting with the rows. Because if they look behind, everyone then goes off kilter. And he said, we're staying in our lane, counting our rows and keeping going.
Yeah.
And when if you actually look at it as an analogy, you don't think of it that way, but it shows you how smart Darren Moore is, how in tune he is at looking how to motivate players.
Very good coach.
I think there's a lot of managers that in this situation with like struggling at half time would have gone, right, why are you not doing it? Darren, I can see you've just gone, calm down.
Yeah.
Why are you getting sucked in? Joe Bayer could have been sent off because his head had gone.
Yeah,
his head had gone.
As he is that first half.
The fact that Flint had to grab him and turn around and go, calm down, was amazing. One of the things I want to point out, though, which was incredible, was the reaction to Jaden Brown's tackle from Aidan Flint after he got it. Because it was a certain goal. He was going to go. Brown just put the burners on. And it's just like this pushing mentality to go, you got this, you did that. Brown, we had it on Talking Wednesday. Yeah. We kind of said we questioned what his motivation was because he wasn't getting in the squad, because James and Marvin Johnson were ahead of him. And sometimes you think, have they got that motivation to get in, or are they just so good? Now, it's shown that Marvin Johnson and Reece James are going to have to fight for this position back.
Yeah.
So he's
shown competition, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think there's something about this team at the minute. It's like, I don't know if anyone's seen the thing. I think I shared it in the Twitter chat about it was the journalist talking about how Wednesday was really poor and all this lot. And it's like, you look at it and you're a journalist. Like, I understand you trying to help your fan base in that kind of thing, and I get it. But Barry Bannon had more passes than your entire team. Granted, Barry Bannon is a cheat code for this level.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. We've all said this. He's stupidly ridiculous. But if one player's have more passes than the entire team, and their plan was to wind up. Now, we didn't have Reece James. He had that stomach. We didn't have Fizz. We didn't have Stockdale. I actually think if you had David Stockdale on that bench, like he'd been doing coaching, he pulls some of those players to one side and goes, calm down. They're getting in your heads. This is what they want. Because Stockdale is the master of what they were doing.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. We all saw what he did at Wickham.
Yes, he was.
He's learned it from the best, hasn't he?
Right. And I think it was kind of. It was almost. It was a shame that in the first half the players were getting sucked in to the Peterborough kind of negative tactics and the game management and that sort of thing. But then it is also a Darren Ferguson side, and his sides are notorious for that sort of thing. They're not exactly known for their amazing tiki taka. It's very.
Dapper, am I allowed to do it on
disrupting.
manager because Ferguson managed you?
Oh,
Is
No.
that a very time you want to forget?
oh.
You know what? Fergie were all right at Donny. I think, yeah, he weren't a bad manager. Like Jack's just said, you've got a certain style of play with Fergie.
Yeah.
You know what to expect. Similar to Darren Moore, really. I think one of my frustrations is when Darren were our manager, were that he used players in positions that they weren't the strongest in. It was square pegs, round holes. They were very tinker man, but I think that was because of the squad that we had. I think you guys have got a much more settled squad. I still think he moves players into positions, and I've seen it on social feeds that people are questioning why certain players are in certain positions. And
You like to have a player that can play at least 2 or 3 positions.
yeah, 9 times out of 10, it's for the right reason, though.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is, speaking on Jaden Brown, is last year he got dropped after, obviously the own goal that he scored, but then everyone was saying how weak and how uncomfortable and how he just had no confidence seemingly in the left wing back position, but was fine when going forwards. And it almost seems like he's coached him and coached him and coached him to now look like a very solid left wing back this season. And the lads.
Also,
young,
we
but
got
it's just-
we
it's
got
interesting to
we
see
got
the
sports
coaching,
scientists in now as
Yeah.
well, and one thing that Darren Moore couldn't understand is that we had no sports psychologist in the club, and it was the first thing he did.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to see a player just look like the player that we hoped he was going to be, and him enjoying his football. And there's something about watching players enjoy the football. And like soon we've got the situation where a lot of young players are going to be finding out if they've got jobs, because it's going to be that point of the season where they're going to get told if they get staying or being let go. Now, you think of this, take away that the footballers, imagine this is your job going, like you've been told there's a change in the company or something.
Yeah, it couldn't be nice.
People need to remember that if this is their job, so the players will have to think. So it's a good win. It's one chalked off, and now we just start preparing for Pompey, who are just on a really good run at the minute.
Yeah,
I think
they're
it's
not
on this, obviously, Peterborough's game plan. It shows how, obviously, far we've come. Teams do now come to frustrate us, and instead of teams used to come to Hillsborough and say it's 3 points here. Obviously,
Yeah.
some dark days watching us. Back when we were in League One, and obviously Championship, we were getting walloped. But now there's a real belief. I mean, I was sat watching this 1-0. Last season, we'd have probably drawn this.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well,
So
if you think about last season, Lee, it took us 6 years to undo our away voodoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
it's weird because I was sat watching the scores. I wasn't really worried that we're going to score. It's such a weird feeling being a Wednesday fan, that feeling, because last season you just almost knew, they're going to score, they will equalise. But this
You're
season,
expecting clean sheets now, aren't you?
exactly. And
Yeah.
for how many players we've chopped and changed in that back 3, back 4, whatever he's playing, it's amazing. And we've changed his keeper halfway through as well, and that's
to keep that consistency, it's a different level, isn't it?
Did they keep Clark Harris quiet then?
Yeah, Clark Carrot was very quiet that game. He had bits and bells, but
spells
nothing
of
really.
that,
It's
Yeah, because
Well,
he's their number one man goal scoring wise, isn't he?
I was expecting it to be a bit of a goal fest from what you said last week, Ian, but it looks like midweek they've calmed it down, changed it up. They got a draw against Charlton and changed it up a bit. And to be fair, if you can keep Clark Harris from not scoring and you win 1-0, you take that all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do,
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's really funny talking about the league position when you're a Wednesday fan because you almost don't want to have the solidified hope. It's a little bit like trauma victims. You don't really want to say, yeah, we can do this. We can be champions. It's
one game at a time, Jack.
One game at a time. We can't talk about it. We can't get our hopes up.
Speaking to my dad.
Don't pin it on my channel. The fact that you guys are going to bottle it. Don't say it.
Oh, Derby fans are very convinced we are, but that's Derby.
Speaking to my dad, he's probably the most negative Wednesday fan you'll ever speak to. I mean, I'm positive this season, obviously, that we're going to go up, and I do believe that we're going to win the league. But you speak to him, and he's supported Wednesdays for 60 odd years, and he's like, it's just instilled into him that something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
do me a favour, let's go on to another game so we don't get too hopes up.
Until last week that I said to you, Jay,
anymore.
that it's going to be Wednesday will lose before end of the season. It's how they react to it.
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, Lewis has asked what was the last game Wednesday lost at home. Far too strong. I don't know if you guys have got that stat. Memorized.
Have they lost at home this season?
Was it
Barnsley?
Yeah.
Barnsley, yeah.
2-0.
There you go. There you go, Lewis. Barnsley 2-0. That was this season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Moving on to Plymouth. We're just ticked over the minute mark. We've still got League One and League Two to go through. But ATID has been in the chat. Needed 3 points. Nothing else was acceptable. Got the 3 points. Another club claiming the massive to come to Plymouth and leave red-faced. Massive game Tuesday night now. Derby at home. Also, if Ryan Hardy and Niall Ennis could actually shoot, we'd have had the league wrapped up in October. So wasteful, it's a joke. But yeah, Clacks in it. Niall Ennis scoring as well. This is a depressing stream, isn't it, for me? But no, it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, Ian, I'll come to you for this one. 15 wins, 1 draw at home in the 17 home games that Plymouth have had. That form surely is going to take them up.
You would think so.
Ridiculous.
You would think so. They're frighteningly good at home. I mean, on the travels, they're not so good. I've seen them twice on the travels, and they've only picked up the 1 point from the 2 games I've seen them at Lincoln and Peterborough. But at home, they're a different animal altogether. They attack straight from the first whistle. They get in your faces, and any opposition defence who gets anything like a positive result there have done an absolutely fantastic job. But yeah, I would think the home form, if they can maintain it from now till the end of the season, should get Argyle over the line.
Yeah. Just to touch on Charlton, Lee, any fears for them? I mean, it seems like it's a little bit chaotic off the field with their owners and stuff. They're underperforming this season. I think they're sitting 18th at the minute.
I think we touched on it last episode. Sorry, what happens off the field really affects what happens on the field. Charlton fans have got to be frustrated because I think they thought that we're going to be in and around the playoffs this year, and it's just teetering into another where they're waiting to get on the beach sort of season. So yeah, very frustrating.
Twice this season.
Yeah, I think they were close to a takeover a few weeks back, but it's just fell through, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, no worries about relegation. I don't think there's teams down there that
they'll be League One next season.
Yeah,
it's not where the fans wanted it to be.
No, and something really needs sorting over the summer, doesn't it?
To be fair to Plymouth, up until that result against Peterborough, they've actually been doing okay away from home. It's just they were starting to look decent away and just having those wins at home. It's the home form that'll get them up because the home form is scary.
Yeah, definitely. And that takes me on to Ipswich. Obviously, Wednesday winning, Plymouth winning, pressure put on Ipswich for them to keep that pressure on Plymouth. And they did pretty well in 11 first half minutes, didn't they, Jake and Jack?
Yeah, absolutely.
Ipswich, when they get going, on the days they get going, they're scary. They are absolutely scary. When they get going, that's the issue. Some games, it takes them a while to get going, and you're thinking, are we going to have an Ipswich result where they've done all the chances and not come away with it, or they're just going to falter? I still think bringing all those players they brought in the transfer window may have backfired. A lot of players gelling quickly. But Connor Chaplin doesn't rarely miss, does he? Let's be honest. He's a very good player. Always have been. But you look at that, 17 shots to 7. Burton recently had a really good form. They were starting to look like they were getting out of that relegation battle, starting to look good. Coming up, they got a lot of clubs who are near the top and in playoff positions. That's why I worry for them. I think Nathan Broadhurst is an absolutely superb signing. And I'm sorry, Ian. Ladapo just seemed to love playing in Ipswich more than he did in Rotherham. Because
he's getting the goals. You can't argue with that.
No.
Yeah. Well, no, very good win for Ipswich, which keeps the pressure on Plymouth. Just having a quick look through the comments. A few have come in. Sam asking, evening Dan, take it. I've not missed the boys. No, we haven't. League 2 is coming up. By all means, put your input in. I didn't go to the game. I've got a few words to say, but obviously I'd sooner hear it from somebody who was at the game, who's watched the game. So once we're on League 2, get your comment fired in and I will read it out for our game.
Can I just read you something here?
Of course.
Burton Albion's last 4 out of the last 5 games. Wednesday at home, 15th of April. Bolton at home, 18th of April. 22nd of April, Derby away. 29th of April, Argyle away.
Jeez.
And then they finish the season with an home game with MK.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a rank running, isn't it?
Oh, that's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's definitely time for them to be preparing for the division below, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think they've got enough to get out of it by that point, but it's because they have been doing well, but it just depends.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've had a bit of a
March,
resurgence, haven't they?
Ipswich have been very strange this season because you'd have thought they'd have learned their lesson from, because they did the exact same thing last year where they just had a load of fresh faces that didn't gel and ultimately they fell off, and it's happened again this year. You'd think they would learn that you need to have time to gel a team together, but they've done the same thing again.
Sorry, I've only just seen ATID's comment. I agree.
Yes.
Would that be that one?
Yeah.
Old Wednesday player.
Yeah, but he's a talented
man of the match yesterday as well, Luongo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, he was amazing.
The one game he's played since he's been there.
Yeah. Which is good to see because I quite liked him at Wednesday. They were good
luck player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other League One games that you gents want to touch upon before we have a look at the table?
Only that Lincoln actually won a game and not drew it.
Yeah, I think they've drawn
games.
Have they drawn 13 at home or something like that? It's been
they won 4, drawn 13 and lost none.
Wow.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. But Oxford losing the major.
Oxford go down.
They're in trouble, and some of the names that they've been linked for the job don't sound promising, like Robbie Fowler and co. It's like, you don't want that.
What about Appleton going back?
Could work. Could work. Depends how much damage he's done by having the Blackpool job.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they look in a bit of a mess at the minute, don't they, Oxford? But
and squad wise, they're fairly strong. They've got some good players.
Massive result for Accrington, so I'm buzzing with that one.
Yep.
Accrington on my list. Going 1-0 down, coming back to win the game 2-1. I think the red card probably had a big impact on this one, didn't it?
Yeah.
I'd love Stanley to stay up.
Yeah,
that result pulled them out of the bottom 4, hasn't it? So fantastic result for them. And like we've said so many times on the stream, Accrington Stanley it's League One, isn't it? They're
the furniture in League One.
They are League One.
Yeah.
And the Premier League bound Ian Everton team only drew at Morecambe.
They did. So,
which was, to be honest, that was a surprise because I thought that was an away win all day long.
Yeah, Ian Evatt doing what Ian Evatt does best, putting his foot in it.
Writes the opposition team talk for him.
Yeah, does indeed.
You
Let's have a
know, he owns a part of Bolton as well. He's a minority shareholder.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think he'd keep his mouth shut then, so they actually succeeded.
Bit of a conflict of interest, that, isn't it? If he gets sacked and
yeah.
So yeah, onto the table before we move on to League Two. Forest Green, we've said it for the last 6 or 7 weeks. I think that they're doomed. 5 wins, 8 draws all season. Can't see them winning a game and getting back into it. Obviously, Cambridge, MK Dons, Morecambe, all in with a shout of actually getting out of the bottom 4, but they need to sort their form out. There's a lot of red down there, isn't there?
MK Dons is the one that I kind of now don't see. I don't see them getting out of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cambridge are looking poor as well.
They've got to pull form out of somewhere, and they're not doing it now. I think if you look at if Burton, Accrington, Stanley and Cheltenham can get, and probably Oxford, get games and results in March, they're away. April should be easier.
Yeah. I think this is the thing you can see on Burton, Cheltenham, Accrington, Morecambe. There's a couple of draws, a couple of wins scattered in with a lot of defeats. Whereas, I mean, Cambridge have got the one, but there's far too much red there to see them kind of flipping that form enough to survive. But yeah, it's not looking good down at the bottom of the table for any of those teams. Moving towards the top, Sheffield Wednesday, it's looking very pretty for you guys, isn't it? 74 points, Ipswich on 66. We'll not say it yet. There's plenty of time to go. Like Ian said, in the Championship, there's a lot can happen between now and May. So, yeah, we don't want to be kind of commentator's curse or anything on it, but it's looking pretty well for you guys. Massive game for Plymouth, isn't it, this week against Derby?
I think that game will give us an idea what's going to happen, but I just don't see Plymouth losing at home.
I can't see Plymouth losing that.
Do we think it's just the top 3 that get the top 2, or can you see anyone Bolton, Derby, or Barnsley? Anyone?
Jake and Jack.
Not really. Not really. I think it's any 2 from 3.
Yeah.
Ipswich have gone to have to be virtually perfect between now and the end of the season to even stand a chance. Argyle, I don't like to use that word again, but they surely can't do it 2 years on the trot. The whole form will see them over the line.
Don't. ATID's already said.
Barnsley faced Plymouth at home on Saturday as well.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah, that's a big game, and Sam's just said Barnsley's games in hand is a big one, isn't it? 2 games in hand, that gets them on 66 points. Yeah, definitely.
It's no fun playing 4 times a week.
No, definitely not. So that rounds off League One. Moving on to League Two, I will bring Sam Davies in on this one. He went to the game yesterday, and it's not often we get a clean sheet being a Donny fan. Let me just scroll up and find his comment. So Sam says that we were defensively brilliant. Midfield was solid enough to keep it from being a battering. Up front, couldn't hit a cow's ass with a banjo.
That's your saying, isn't it, Ian?
Yeah, it is.
I think that's kind of the running theme for the Rovers this season, though. But yeah, I think that's kind of the running theme for the Rovers this season. 6 shots, 2 on target. It's not good enough. But what I will say is the resolute defence has seen us get as many clean sheets in the last 6 as what we achieved in the first 27. So as Rovers fans, I know. Right. Yeah, I know I've come on this and said numerous times that the board have said that we're going to bounce back decisively and what have you. We're clearly not doing that. We're not going to bounce back decisively this season. It needs a big...
Dan, can you just sort out Big Joe Bayer fan? He's just banning high constantly.
Of course I can. He's gone.
He did that overnight on you.
Yeah.
There we go. Sorted. Maybe he just wanted a shout out. Should have just given him a shout out, shouldn't I?
Aye.
Yeah.
Gone. Where was I? Yeah, 0-0.
Sorry, Dan.
Sorry. No, it's all right. So yeah, we've got as many clean sheets in the last 6 as what we've got in his first 27. So progress is there. it's frustrating progress from a Rovers point of view because the expectation was so high, which was given to us by the board. But like you said, Ian, I think over the last 2 years we've been in such turmoil as a team and as a club that I think stabilisation should have been the key this season.
Mid-table's not too bad.
It's not. But
it's your comments that have made it worth for you. The board saying we're looking for promotion, and if you get mid-table, it's a big failure from the board, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, mid-table's an alien concept for me because we just don't do mid-table at Rotherham at all.
But I think looking at this result as an isolated result, Stockport have been doing really well. They're clearly a club with ambition of promotion. They've got a good squad there. They've taken arguably our best player in January in Kyle Noyle. So the ambition there is clear to get up to League One. So I think a point away from home and a clean sheet can't really be sniffed at in the position that we're in. I'd take it. Mitchell, fantastic couple of saves to keep us in it. Defensively solid, like Sam said. And he's asked thoughts on giving Jack Goodman a go before the end of the season, killing it for the youth lot. He is. I think he's on about 20 goals this season in youth. If we're not creating or not scoring opportunities, I think scoring goals is a natural ability, regardless of what level you're at. I think you need to know where the net is and just have that kind of that sixth sense of being able to put the ball in the back of the net. For me, it's a bit of a dead rubber season now. We're not going to go down. We're probably not going to go up.
You're not going to go down. You're not going to go to get to the playoffs. Why not blood these players?
Yeah, I think we're a club that needs to develop our youngsters. So down at League Two, I think it's a perfect opportunity to do that. And if he's bagging every single week at youth level, give him a go. It keeps us first team players on the toes as well. So yeah, I think give him a go for sure. But no, happy with a 0-0. In all fairness. Moving on to Bradford, I've just seen Sam say about 20,000 home fans at Bradford. That's 220,000 fingers. Let's try and make friends on this channel, Sam. Come on. But no, great result for them. 2-0. They're on fire at the minute. That's 3 wins on the bounce.
That's me.
I hope.
Oh, that's got to be a fine, surely. No, Lee, you saw Bradford at Donny. It was one of those games, weren't it, where it kind of on a knife edge, and then they put the pressure on us and probably deserved to win. Took him to the 93rd minute. Andy Cook pops up with his 19th goal of the season. He assists as a second. 20,000 fans there. They're in the wrong division, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, they've been in it quite a while. I think the fans will be pleased. I think they've been struggling at home to get the results. So I think in front of that big crowd, it's massive because you'll sort of get them back now. And they'll be open to push on and cement a playoff spot. But yeah, massive result.
They seem to have hit form just at the right time, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, Cookie's finished midweek at Gillingham were unbelievable.
It were a brilliant goal, weren't it?
Yeah, if he's scoring that in Premiership, they're talking about it for weeks.
And to be honest, that were a good result, that at Gillingham, because Gillingham had been on form. Yeah,
massive.
Sam said that Andy Cook's like a prime Billy Sharp. He's fat and doesn't run, but he scores a load. Tell you what, I'd take Billy Sharp back at Donny.
I'll tell you this much: if I wouldn't bet against Bradford in the playoffs.
I won't bet against them getting top 3, Ian. To be fair,
it could be, yeah, they could.
I think
especially with Stevenage dropping off.
Yeah, that's a massive result for Rochdale. That.
It's like we're professionals, lads.
Yeah.
Let's segue on. Jake and Jack have decided to sack it off. But no, Rochdale, a fantastic result for them.
Apologies, lads. I had a little girl wanting to send nanite to people.
No worries. Okay, family first every single day of the week, mate.
Hey, Jake, family comes first, mate.
Oh, Jack been summoned as well, so she's done something right.
But no, great result for Rochdale. They were starting to get cut adrift a bit, weren't they, Ian? They were
Yeah,
looking,
we were worried about them, weren't we? I don't know where they pulled this off for, but two
No.
really good goals, two really good finishes.
Yeah.
They're looking like they could actually get out of it.
yeah, it's breathed a bit
And
of life into their relegation battle, hasn't it?
It's
What
made it a
happened
little
to
bit
Stevenage?
more interesting.
What has happened to Stevenage though? They've fallen off.
Yeah,
They won in
like,
midweek though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Stevenage falling off the cliff. That's going to make one big splash with Steve Evans.
Sam, you're
One
you're
great big
building up the
splash.
fans.
he's on fire.
This drop off in form from Stevenage has coincided with a massive upturn in Carlisle's fortunes.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I mean,
Carlisle
look-
are really ripping it at the moment.
Yeah, looking at Stevenage's form running into this, it's been a bit of a sticky run. It's 1 win in 7, 2 draws, 4 defeats. They've slipped down to 3rd. They've got teams now breathing down the necks. Question.
Because Northampton's not going to go away, are they, either?
No. So my question starting from Jake, do you think Stevenage have got the cojones to turn this form around and stay in that top 3?
I don't think they have. I think it's slipping.
It's
And
not
it's
looking good.
It's at a point of the season you don't want to have your rough patch. And their rough patch, they haven't had one all season. And for it to
No.
happen in this last part where you always say March and April is your biggest games of the season, depending on where you are. It's
Yeah.
the difference between promotion and relegation, playoffs and not having playoffs.
Yeah,
They have
and
picked the wrong time to suddenly go, oh, we'll have a little bit of a wobble. If there's a
I
manager
think
that can stop a
Northampton and
team-
Carlisle have both had the wobbles already earlier
Yeah.
on in the season.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or if there's a manager that can try and change it, it is Evans. But that's Evans from the past for me. I don't know if he can do it now.
Yeah, I think Stevenage maybe problem that they thought this with Leighton Orient keep winning. It's frustrated them, and that now they're starting to look behind them. And like Sheffield United, it's affecting their results as well. They're looking behind instead of forward.
Yeah, spot on there. I think.
I mean,
like,
I saw Stevenage absolutely rip Leighton Orient a new one, and that was only a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
They beat them 3-0, but they've not done anything right since Stevenage.
no. But we will see if that form turns around or not. Final game for me from League Two was Salford. If I can find them, Salford beating Newport 3-1. This is another one of those teams that are chasing down Stevenage for that top 3 spot. Going 1-0 down, turning it around. 22 shots at goal. It's scary, isn't it?
Yeah,
Just the bombardment towards the Newport goal. Is this Salford's time? I mean, there's been so much talk about them. That
Didn't we
the
say
Sky
this last season?
media
though?
darlings, aren't they?
Didn't we say
possibly.
this last time?
I think they're a bit more productive. I think they're a bit more productive this year. They seem to be getting the wins like they won last week at Mansfield, whereas last few seasons they've won but then lost at teams that they should have really beat, and they've just caved off it at the end. But they seem to be getting the results a bit more frequent this year.
That
Is
was a
it the first
fantastic
season?
result at Mansfield, and
Is
Yeah.
it
very
the first season they
unexpected.
kept the manager in charge all season?
Yeah,
Possibly,
Yeah,
yeah.
that helps.
That
Yeah.
does help because every season they normally have about 2 changes.
yeah.
Yeah, getting that solidity and that kind of consistency, not just on the field but off it. So it's looking decent for Salford. We've got them coming up in the next couple of weeks.
It's to be hoped they don't get in playoff
Thank you.
final, because
Yeah.
I saw Salford when they moved at Wembley when they beat Fylde to get their league place. You know, National League playoffs final. I was at Wembley that day, and there were 6,500 in Wembley Stadium. Can you believe that? It were incredible. It were absolutely. It was just like a stadium tour.
I guess the Paul Scholes vanity project's finally pulling off this year, eh? Seems like it,
Yeah.
maybe.
That's it. It's happening. It's got to be. ATID, Salford, Sky's forgotten love child.
Yeah, they're all Wrexham now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Stevie T has also been in the chat. Bradford are on the up. Sparky's got us playing again. City will be in the mix for automatic promotion, but he'll be happy with playoffs. I think you're well within the mix for automatics, mate. We'll have a look at the table because we're at 1 hour and 5, so we'll start rounding it off. Rochdale, as we said, 2-0 winners this weekend. and winning a draw over their last two has really breathed a bit of life back into their relegation survival.
It's going to come down
fight.
to the last game of the season, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they're 4 points away from Hartlepool now, same games. Harrogate not too far ahead as well. So I think those results are absolutely huge. Crawley can't buy a win at the minute. Can't see them getting out of that mess.
Before we, while on League Two, well done to Grimsby on that win in FA Cup midweek.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll not talk about this
There was a
weekend.
massive hangover yesterday, though,
Yeah.
weren't they, at Carlisle?
But no, they're flying the flag for League Two in
yeah.
the Cup, aren't they, which is
That
nice.
second penalty was an absolute joke, weren't it?
Yeah.
An absolute joke.
Solid in mid-table, Donny Rovers. Yeah, we'll skip past that. It's going to be one of those seasons, I think.
Hey, steady, Dan. You were beginning to sound positive there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Narrative right now, Dan. You know.
Yeah, I got myself back very quickly. Yeah, Sam hits nail on the head with it. We're not going anywhere quickly, really consistently. Inconsistent. Keep the majority of the defence in midfield. We just need a consistent striker. Yeah, I think
Why not
Miller's
give
one of those-
Lavery a go in the same role? And,
Yeah, I mean,
and
Lavery had a
rest
couple of
Miller?
opportunities in yesterday's game and fluffed them. I think the problem is this. I had an argument with my brother about it. I think we're creating so little that we might only be creating maybe one clear-cut chance every game, and we're expecting the striker to be on it and score that one clear-cut chance. You look at other teams like we saw Salford there, 22 shots at goal. That's potentially getting their strikers' eyes in.
Yeah.
Where it's a half chance, not a clear-cut chance, just a half chance where they've got an opportunity to get a shot off, get a feel for it, and then when a clear-cut chance comes, they've already had that kind of tester. If I'm making sense.
Yeah.
Whereas we're creating
Well,
maybe
you stand a
one or two.
fantastic chance of getting some shots in on Tuesday. You're playing Harrogate.
Well, this is it. This is where we'll see what we're all about. If we defend and play for a draw like it seems like we're doing at the minute, then some serious questions need asking. But Harrogate struggling, we should be taking the game to them. But yeah, I think we just need to create a bit more and give the strikers a chance to get their eye in before expecting them to put one in the back of the net. Top three: Leyton Orient, Carlisle, Stevenage. Yeah, I think Stevenage will be looking over the shoulders at Northampton, Bradford, Salford. It's anybody's game up there, isn't it? If
It is, yeah.
team gets a run together, and yeah, it could all change. There's, like we've said already in this stream, plenty can happen between now and May. I think Leyton
It'll be
Orient
a
are up.
fascinating fight for seventh, though, isn't it? Between
Yeah.
Stockport, Mansfield, and possibly Sutton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. ATID's just popped in. Cruise EFL's fit and proper is a load of shit. Crawley are showing that in Nova Sport would a crypto organisation be allowed to own a professional outfit? Yeah, I think something really needs looking at with that, because it's damaged their season, hasn't it, for sure.
Well, I mean, Kirchner, that was going to buy Derby County, he's just been raided by the FBI and imprisoned. So I think that just goes to show it all, doesn't
And then
it?
you look at the whole takeover at Sheffield United, it's sounding like the bloke doesn't have the funds.
Yeah, and it was just a big embezzlement scheme, Viz. It seems. So that's another
Money
example.
laundering.
Yeah.
I think what this stream has showed is that we definitely need one over the summer where we just talk finances for an hour.
Yeah,
because we
definitely.
could go on forever. But no, that takes us to the end of episode 27 of the 72 review. Once again, thank you all for spending a portion of your Sunday evening with us. We'll go around the table. We'll start with Lee. Any comments, anything to say before we finish off?
No, just another great show. If you could smash the like button and share it around to get the watchers and views up. Great show again, great set of lads. I'm at Grimsby v Newport on Tuesday, so looking forward to that one.
Nice.
Watch out for that for sure. Moving around the table to Ian. Any final words, mate?
Well, I'm hoping these antibiotics take effect so I can go somewhere next Saturday, but I've got to listen to my body at 61-year-old, so hopefully I shall be up and about again next Saturday. Great show again. Thanks for everybody. Thanks. Nice to meet you, mate, as well.
Nice to meet you too, Ian. Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're on the mend and back out at games vlogging for us, Ian. And moving on to Jack.
Yeah, just thank you for having me this week. Maybe I might be back on again. I don't know. That's up to you guys if you've enjoyed my company.
You're more than welcome, mate.
Yeah, it's really nice to meet everybody. I've been hearing a lot about you all from Jake here, and just nice to finally actually get to speak to you rather than. In the
All right,
chat.
lads. I'll send you my bank
Yeah.
details for the money.
Depends what you've said, Jake.
Yeah.
Glowing report. Glowing report.
Yes, it has been.
And we'll finish with Jake. Any final words before we round off, mate?
Just look after yourselves. I think at the minute we're in this situation where football is escapism for a lot of people around and stuff, and you can use it to escape. Even if the team's doing badly, enjoy just spending time with friends and family at games, and enjoy watching games and doing what we do with this. We love talking football. It feels like it's a good opportunity to have other people's opinions. And also remember, if someone has an opinion that doesn't align with yours, they're not wrong. It's their opinion. Just go, all right, I don't agree with it, move on. Life's too short.
No, I completely agree with that. It's why we love it. Football is full of opinions. Everybody's got a different one, and that's what makes it so positive, I think. But yeah, thank you all once again for spending a portion of your Sunday evening with us talking football. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully we've made your Sunday evening slightly better. But yeah, that rounds off the 72 review for this week. Subscribe to all of these guys. Links to their channels is in the description down below. Like Lee said, like this video, comments, subscribe, all the usual good stuff. Get it out there. All that's left for me to say is thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.